She hit every bucket of my soft spot of life. Single mom, veteran, widow. I showed her 120 houses driving a Prius.
God.
And I think I still lost money. A lot of times people take that low-hanging fruit because it's quote unquote easier.
Right.
And it's actually causing more problems.
It's something most agents don't think for a single second about. And they don't give a single thought to who they actually worked with and whether they chose those people really or not. Forget about the clients you lost out on. Like, they're bad enough. But it actually might be the clients you're working with right now that are sabotaging your success. Now, I'm here with Coach Hank. We've seen a bunch of different variations about this. You would call that low-hanging fruit. What do you mean by that?
Correct. Well, what comes to you? So, for example, you have somebody that comes to you, you don't really care for them, yet you're afraid that they're the only business that you're going to have, so you choose to work with them.
Yep.
And I remember one particular client. I mean, I was in phase 1 income, and what that means is food, shelter, and water was in danger, and I had to take everything that came my way.
Yeah.
And he just kind of treated me like his whipping post at every appointment. We'd get there 5 o'clock appointment. He'd get there at 5:15, and somehow it was my fault that he was late.
Oh, okay.
Just would flog me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you've got poor fit clients and feeling like you have to take them. I would add first-time home buyers into that equation because they don't know the process and they're going to want to see a ton of houses.
And their dad's involved. Oh, it's always fun.
Okay. Yeah, that's fun. Let's see. Rentals. What else? What else comes to mind?
Open houses. It's not that I'm against open houses.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah, it's a low-hanging fruit for sure.
It is a low-hanging fruit. Yeah, because you basically have leads just kind of walking in, foot traffic that they stumble in.
Internet leads.
Yeah, internet leads. One of my buddies is a team owner. He ran the numbers. You know how many calls it takes to convert one lead? 150 calls. Not to that one person. We're just talking about for every one deal that his team would close, it took 150 dials.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah, to get internet leads in general to close once. How about leads that are outside your preferred service area? Which in San Diego, that's a big deal. Like, you can be in Pacific Beach and you go 10 minutes north to La Jolla and you can have no idea what is going on there.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you're okay with being busy versus productive.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get to a point where you're playing not to lose versus playing to win. I remember I took a widowed single mom to find a home where you could see nice homes in a crappy neighborhood and crappy homes in a nicer neighborhood. And then they wanted that nice home in the nice neighborhood. The price of the crappy home in the crappy neighborhood.
Yeah.
I showed her 120 houses driving a Prius.
Gosh.
And I think I still lost money. Like, just do the math on that.
Yeah.
120 homes, you figure on average, it's an hour per showing with all the work that's involved in it. So it was a minimum of 120 hours. And if most people work 2,000 hours in a year,
right,
one client was 120.
That's 3 weeks worth of 40-hour work for one client.
Yeah.
Did she close? Did she?
She did close. And she was a veteran. I mean, she hit every bucket of my soft spot of life. Single mom, veteran, widow. So like, I was bound and determined to make it work.
Goodness. Okay. So the clients you're taking on right now might actually be killing your commission income and contributing to just the frustration and the sense of, you don't even have to really be struggling, although that doesn't help things. You can be super successful and still have this because agents have such a hard time turning down the low-hanging fruit.
Well, let me give you a great example of this.
Yeah.
So when I started in Michigan, and I think it was 2007, 2008, when you took a listing, it would be 6 to 12 months, and that was just normal 4 days on the market. So anytime I went to a listing, one of my old mentors said, every listing appointment you go on, the math behind it is it costs you $1,000. Yet the point behind that was every time I turned down a listing that I didn't want, instead, as long as that listing was on the market through another agent, I took one of my A's out to lunch because I knew that would end up producing more of the business that I wanted.
Okay. And what's an A?
An A is somebody that's in that inner circle, someone that you like, you run with. They have, the same standards and values in life. There's someone that you care about.
Yeah, someone who, in their world, they probably know somebody who's thinking about buying or selling,
100%,
that they can potentially refer you to over the next year. And then just, the value, like birds of a feather flock together. It's like, okay, I want more of you in my life. That's okay.
So a lot of times people take that low-hanging fruit because it's quote unquote easier.
Right.
And it's actually causing more problems. So when you identify the low-hanging fruit that you're taking, raise your standards. So for example, first-time home buyers, we all started with working with buyers, and it didn't matter which lender they were working with. Well, anytime you get an outcome you don't desire is an opportunity to put a new standard in place. So we've all gotten that call. Jeffrey Dahmer, 5:00 Friday night. Sure, I'll show you. You show up.
He sounds like a lovely guy.
Yeah, lovely guy. And then you find out that they're working with another agent. So you start asking more questions and qualifying before you just jump for that opportunity, because a lot of times opportunities actually aren't opportunities. It just makes you feel like it's an opportunity.
Okay, so that makes sense to me. So for anyone that's frustrated, listening to this, maybe they're super successful but burnt out, whatever the case is, they're thinking, man, like, is this really what I want to do for the next 20, 30 years in real estate? And the answer is no, they don't have to. There is another way to do this. You don't have to take all the low-hanging fruit.
100%. And it's about raising your standards and then being willing to go find the business that you desire and not just sitting back and lead receiving.
Right.
And if you've been in this business for a while, go back and look at the clients that you liked working with and see if there's anything that sticks out, like where they, certain areas or certain price points, or, look at where those indicators are and put yourself in positions on how to go get more of those.
Yeah, love it. All right. So if you are in a similar position and you're looking at it and going, man alive, okay, I think I might be taking a lot of low-hanging fruit and it's making real estate harder and more frustrating and more overwhelming than it needs to be. Awesome. That's great. I would still recommend you talk to Hank, because there's probably a whole bunch of other things you're not thinking of, but that's just one of the, I would say, mindset shifts, or like the types of awareness that you can bring by talking to someone like Hank that can give you that outside perspective, because it's something most agents don't think for a single second about. They go, this is what I made, and they don't give a single thought to who they actually worked with and whether they chose those people really or not.
Yeah, and a lot of times it comes from destructive abundance, where, we go back to the other video we did on enough. It's never enough, right?
Yeah.
And what happens with destructive abundance is you start taking on more, you stop doing as good of a job. Therefore, the referrals stop coming in. It's a vicious cycle.
All right. So go to connectwithhank.com. Make sure to get into conversation and relationship with him, because there's so many things like that if you get awareness around it, you'll realize that it's not actually real estate, the industry, that's the problem, right? You can build anything you want in this space. You have complete freedom. It's not real estate that's the issue. It's maybe what you're doing and the way that you build your business.
Wait, they could be the issue, not the issue.
I know. Shocking.
Shocker.
All right, call it.